everyone, and welcome to Your Caribbean News and Culture. I'm Delinda Eiffel. If I told you to love life now, there's no way you would object to such a thing, right? The three words together provide an empowering statement of taking command of your life and being in control of your destiny. This ideology is reflected in the work and initiatives of the Love Life Now Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of victims and survivors of domestic violence. The Love Life Now Foundation also hosts a variety of innovative events and projects throughout the year in efforts to raise awareness against domestic violence and to assist domestic violence shelters in the New England area. Joining us this week is founder and president of the Love Life Now Foundation, Lovern Gordon. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Now let's get into starting to talk about what led you to start the Love Life Now Foundation.
I always kind of chuckle a little bit when I tell this story because it's a bit of a stretch to say, if I say so myself. But I was dared by a few friends to take part in a beauty pageant here in Boston called the New England Ethnic World Pageant. And I did it, and I ended up winning. Based on that, I had to go to LA to take part in the nationals representing Boston, and I ended up winning there too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was really and truly an eye-opening experience, and I give my hats off to folks that take part in pageants because it's a lot of work. So I came back and I had to have a platform that I championed for throughout the year. And domestic violence was an easy choice for me because I grew up as a child witness to it. Where my father brutally abused my mom throughout their marriage. And I subsequently ended up in a domestic violence relationship myself. So again, an easy choice to be championing throughout the year for DV, as we call it. And so I said that I wanted to volunteer in a shelter. I did that at Penelope's Place in Brockton, which is a shelter on the South Shore. And I said, you know, what else can I do besides volunteer at the shelter? How can I help? And the director at that time, Lenny Carrito, mentioned that they are always have a shortage of bedding. Basic thing is bedding. They always get clothing, toiletries, the whole nine, but the residents end up taking the sheets and pillows that they transition out from the shelter with, and they're left with a shortage. So I said, I'm gonna do a bedding drive. I did the drive. Got about 30 or some odd pillows from that, and sheets as well. And then I said I wanted to do more. And came up with the Community White Ribbon Day, which is what it was called at the time. I invited men just within my circle to come and hear more about how they can be part of the nationwide White Ribbon campaign. And they did. Again, 30 or so was my lucky number, and came to Mattapan Library, and they heard more from men in this arena that do the work, how they're aiding women and children from domestic violence. And I said I wanted to do more, so I did a walk. I put on a walk just within my town. About 30 or so people showed up. And we walked from the Wayman School on Oak Street to DW Field Park and back. It was a great, empowering day for survivors that showed up. So once the year was up, by that time the year was up for the title, and I said, you know, I don't necessarily want to do pageants anymore, but I do want to continue with this work. And someone told me, you know, you should form a nonprofit based on the work that you've already done already, and that's how Love Life Now came to form.
Okay. Now let's elaborate a little bit more about the work that Love Life Now does, because you guys aren't a shelter, but you mostly provide resources and whatnot for people who are seeking shelters. Elaborate on it, what your work is exactly.
Correct. We are not a shelter, and we do not provide a service. What we do is raise awareness just within our communities and beyond, if the opportunity presents itself, which it most recently has outside of New England. But what we do is put on innovative events. We like to think they're innovative. Just on the 3 events that you mentioned earlier, the bedding drive, the what's now the White Ribbon Night Gala, and the Heal-a-thon, which the walk is now turned into. We put on these events throughout the year that get people out and about talking about the issue of domestic violence. Because what often happens is when you talk to someone that has been through a domestic violence relationship or is currently in a domestic violence relationship, they don't know that shelters exist.
Right.
If they do know that shelters exist, they have this preconceived notion that you're going to end up in a room full of beds.
Right.
And that's not the case.
And let's talk about that a little bit, because shelters have such a horrible taboo. You know, people may be in a situation and you may want to stay in that situation because the thought of being in a shelter is terrifying.
Right.
So what would you say to those people that, you know, are afraid of getting out of a domestic violence situation just because of the stigma a shelter holds?
Let's disband it, first of all, because it's not the open room with a bunch of beds. Many shelters are different. Penelope's Place, for example, they are a house. It's a house setting. So each victim has their own room. So if you end up in the shelter with your children, you're cordoned off in your own bedroom, away from every other victim. And then there's the common area space, a living room, a kitchen. There's multiple bathrooms. So again, they provide more of a home setting.
Right.
And again, different shelters have different schemes. And I haven't been to all, so I can't comment on all. But just a few that I've been to, I can tell you that it's a comfortable setting. Nobody's really breathing down your neck. There are, there's an office where, folks are working and kind of making sure that things run the way that they should. But it's a secure facility, not, publicized, obviously for privacy reasons. But again, it's not what you thought, what it used to be back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, domestic violence, from your personal experience and your work with the Love Life Now Foundation, do you find that it's a prevalent issue here in our community?
Oh my gosh.
And do you see it in, is it a human issue? Is it within boys and girls and men and women? Because a lot of people think that men can't be victims.
Right,
men
one
can
dynamic.
be victims and not only assailants. You know what I mean?
Correct. It's not a one-person issue. It's an everybody issue. This epidemic affects 1 in every 4 women. Okay? That's the majority. So that's a scary number to begin with. You're thinking myself, yourself, 2 other women.
Yeah.
1 out of every 4 of us will experience domestic violence in her lifetime. 90% of the time, men are looked upon as the perpetrators.
Right.
However, the other 10% exist of children, LGBTQ, and men, the elderly.
The elderly, I didn't even put that into perspective.
Everybody is affected by this issue. So, and it's an epidemic.
Yeah.
Unless we continue to talk about it and not have people continue to think that it's a shameful thing, that you are not supposed to be going through it, and so therefore people are going to look down on you. Unless we continue this discussion,
Right, it's true.
folks
Dialogue
aren't going to know that it's and the thing is, it's not like AIDS or cancer, which are dear causes that people are championing for every day, but are proud to be on the other side of. A lot of people are very, very, very disconnected from this cause because of the subject matter, because it involves demeaning and hitting and emotional abuse and
shame.
Yes, and we need to change that.
And how, I know this may be somewhat of a gray area / controversial area, but what would you say to people who may be going through domestic violence right now, or who may know someone who is? Because it's, first of all, important to point out, it doesn't always have to be, physical.
Right.
It can be verbal, emotional. So talk to us a little bit about some of the signs and how we can process those signs, because I'm sure a lot of people may think, oh, I'm overreacting. Oh, he checks my phone all the time. He just loves me. Or he choked me one time. I'm overreacting. Why should I call the police? Why should I run to a shelter? Talk to us about that gray area that victims may not be aware that they are, in essence, a victim.
First of all, it's really tough to discern sometimes because it comes across as, like you said, he loves me. He's checking up on me. I'll touch on some of the signs that I did not know were there in my own domestic violence situation. This was back in 99 to 2001. And, every day he would call me when I got up, by the time I got to work, during the day. He would pop up unannounced at my place of work. He would sometimes pop up unannounced after work. He would make sure to pick me up at school because I was attending Suffolk at the time, nights. He would get jealous if I looked in the direction of another man. And so those were stalking issues, and there was a lot of jealousy issues that didn't really ring with me at the time. And looking back after the relationship was, well, obviously when the abuse started, I realized this isn't right. At the time, I kept thinking, wow, he loves me enough to check on me.
Right.
He wants to see who I've called because, I think, he's worried that I could be
cheating
or he's so
fighting
jealous.
For a relationship.
Yes. And then even after, I think it was about 3 months into the relationship, after he slapped me the first time, I saw stars. And at that point, I said, this is it. Never going back. Left, went on a shopping trip to New York for the weekend, came back, and he had dropped off a dozen purple roses. Purple is my color. I love purple. I'm thinking to myself,
how ironic too,
right?
With the color purple,
right?
'Cause that's the domestic violence color.
All these years later, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, man, he really thought about this apology gift.
Right.
And the card read, "I'm sorry. Please call me. I haven't heard from you. I'm worried. I love you." Coupled with, because I turned my phone off that entire weekend, coupled with 6 messages by the time I turned my phone on. Where are you? I miss you. I love you. Call me. And it turned to belligerent. You need to answer the phone. Really, I'm worried about you. But it wasn't worry. It was paranoia. It was jealousy. And it was him stalking me.
Wow.
But I took the flowers, ignored all of that. I said, oh, he must be really sorry. And I took him back. Wow. And that's when the cycle started.
Wow.
So a lot of signs, a lot of, intimidation is one, stalking, jealousy, demeaning, never taking full responsibility for their actions, making you feel like you've done something wrong, checking your phone, checking your whereabouts constantly, ostracizing you from friends and family members. There's so many, but again, it's hard to discern sometimes because sometimes it is really a person worried about you.
Right.
But you really do know the difference.
Sometimes you may just have to trust
your
that
gut
instinct too.
Yeah, is what it really boils down to.
If it doesn't feel right,
and if
it probably isn't.
Run for the hills. Run for the hills. It's easier said than done, but if you're in the earlies of a relationship and you see these signs, please leave.
Absolutely. More with Lovern Gordon, the president and founder of the Love Life Now Foundation. Straight ahead. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me. It won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall.
Welcome back to your Caribbean News and Culture, everyone. We've been spending our time chatting with Lovern Gordon, who is the founder and president of the Love Life Now Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising awareness and putting a stop to domestic violence. Now, there are 3 signature events that you guys host each year. One is a white ribbon gala, but that passed for the year. Coming up this June is a Heal-a-thon. Sounds fun.
Yes.
Talk to us about it.
So the Heal-a-thon, as I mentioned before, was a walk the first year. However, a friend of our foundation, Sandra Hardy, had reached out and said, you know, I watched this reality show show, and they've done something called a Heal-a-thon. And I think you should, you know, try to bring it to Boston, which I'm sure it probably already was, but I wanted to kind of connect it to the cause. So the Heal-a-thon happened the following year, and we asked folks in general, men, you're welcome to put on your favorite comfiest pair of heels and come walk a short distance in support of awareness. So we did that, and we got a great response.
Great.
Women, of course, showed up in their favorite pair of heels, the comfiest pair of heels, and we walked from the Raymond School on Oak Street in Brockton to the DW Field Park. However, when we got to the halfway mark, what we did then and what we continue to do is we have a purple carpet, which is the color of domestic violence awareness, as we mentioned before, and folks can strut their stuff by a photo backdrop and take photos on the purple carpet. There's snacks at the halfway mark, there's music, a lot of camaraderies, and you get to take a rest from walking all the, in those heels, right. And so we do that, and then we head back to base. Once we head back to base, we have Zumba. A Zumba demonstration led by our good friend Suhaidi, who formerly had a WEPA studio out in Brockton. And so we do a Zumba demo. It's fun. It's high energy. Of course, you change your heels
to some sneakers.
If you want to participate. But it's a high energy. You get your adrenaline going and keep the energy up. Once the Zumba demonstration is done, one thing that we implemented last year was self-defense demos. Obviously, with this cause, it's very important to be aware of your surroundings and the ways that you can protect yourself in simple, easy ways. So we had a Taekwondo studio come and do some demonstrations there. This year we have some things that we're going to implement, but you have to come to the Heal-a-thon to find out. Yeah, it's really a great fun morning, and it keeps growing every year. June 1st. It's always on a Sunday because I feel like, Saturdays are a little bit crazy, but Sunday mornings from 9 to about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we have activities for kids. Again, it's in Brockton. It's very accessible by the BAT.
The bus.
The BAT, right, if you have to travel. And it's not too far from Boston, and we get people from all over. This year, we expect people from the Cape. We expect folks from Boston as usual, and the surrounding towns.
Right, and it's a great cause.
It is a great cause. So you pay a little bit of an admission fee, which the proceeds go towards Penelope's Place, the shelter that I mentioned. They're near and dear to my heart, and they're in Brockton. A lot of people don't know. So we, at all of our events, we always have shelter representatives that are there to talk to anybody that is inquiring about what a shelter might be, or what does an advocate do? And advocates work for the shelters. These people are there to help you. They help you safety plan. They help you find housing. They help you find lawyer services, the whole nine. So they're always there to talk about the services that they offer, and we have information on hand at all of our events so that folks can be more in the know about what happens. And we usually do have a survivor that tells their story before the walk even begins. And so, it's just a great morning of awareness. And I really can't wait. It's really a great fun time.
It's informative and fun. So
it is informative and fun on a high energy, somewhat low-key level. Nobody's looked upon as a victim. You're not looked upon as a survivor. Everybody's just there culminating.
Judge-free zone.
For one cause.
Absolutely. And that's the Heal-a-thon. And later in the year, people can stand by for a bedding drive.
Correct.
Which we can touch on briefly.
Yes.
And you basically you gather donations of bedding and
just
pillows.
bedding. Yep.
Okay.
If you're able to donate a new pillow or a twin size sheet. All of the shelters throughout Massachusetts and beyond, they use twin beds, which is why we ask for twin size sheets.
Okay.
And that's held during October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Okay.
And it runs for a week. And during the week, folks can drop off. Our main drop-off site is Mattapan Library.
Okay.
But there are also other sites in Brockton, but Boston being the main drop-off site is the Mattapan Library is that. And so folks can drop off a pillow or a sheet during that week, and we publicize it obviously on our Facebook and email blast and our website.
Okay, perfect. Now we have to go to break, but before we do, tell us quickly what you would like to see for the future of the Love Life Now Foundation.
Oh my gosh, we have some things in the works.
Okay,
and
great.
I can tell you that it all is going to span on awareness.
Absolutely.
That is my and my board members' lifelong goal. Debbie, Antonio, Sam, we all want people to be in the know. And I just hope that we continue to reach people and have folks understand that it's not the end all that you're in terms of for a relationship.
Right.
There is help available if you only would just speak up. That's the only way that we're going to combat or continue to combat this epidemic is if we speak up and out.
Absolutely.
So please continue to reach out, and anything that I can do, obviously my number is public, our website is public, my email address is public. Reach out. Info@Love Life Now, 617-803-8357.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
We appreciate
Thank you,
all your work that you
Delinda.
guys do.
Thank you
and we
so
look forward
much.
to all the great things for the Love Life Now Foundation.
We appreciate
For more
you.
information about the Love Life Now Foundation and their upcoming events, visit their website, www.lovelifenow.org. We'll be right back.
Hey girl, ¿qué pasa? My weekend was crazy, from what I can remember. Wait. Slow down, Chica. Take it easy. A what? A picture of me? Who sent it to you? How did she get it? I'm not even friends with her. You gotta send it to me now. This must have been from Saturday night. I was so high. Who do you think got it?
Welcome back to your Caribbean News and Culture, everyone. I'm Delinda Eiffel. April 15th marked 1 year since the devastating marathon bombings occurred here in Boston, and we here at Your Caribbean News and Culture would like to take a moment to extend our love and support to all those affected. This coming Monday, April 21st, will be the Boston Marathon 2014, where visitors and residents in the city of Boston will come together for what is hopefully going to be a day of peace, remembrance, and triumph. We are going to close this week's show with the music video, Can't You See, a song by Jamaican reggae artist Silva Duss, which is a tribute to the victims of the 2013 Boston Marathon. I'll see you all next time.
Reaching out to the patrons of the Boston Marathon. If you know you've lost a loved one, suffering from some form of physical disability, Boston Strong. 4/15, 2030. I feel your Boston Strong. I feel your pain. I'm sitting on that rock, on top that mountain top, looking down upon Georgia creation. My eyes stood still. Yeah, I couldn't believe the things on me, sir. Couldn't believe the things what I want in a Georgia land, in a Boston. Cause I can't believe this mess that we live in it. This place we call home. I fear for the future. Can't you see destruction surrounding me? War's not the answer. Praising the Most High. Well, every day another crime, and every day another fall. Them have we box against the wall. Who will stop blame? Is it you and I? Everybody hating the next one. It is the way it is to be. Senseless killing, it's been written, it's the prophecy. Cause I can't believe this mess that we're living in, this place we call home. I fear for the future. Can't you see destruction surrounding me? War's not the answer. Praising the Most High. A day of enjoyment turn to a day of sadness. Where is the love of pure madness? War and destruction right in our way, backyard. So we pray to the Father for stop this devilish and demonic practice. Today we mourn, one day we shall cheers again. Cause they're not gonna succeed, because we know the value of life. This is the city of champions. Oh no, they're not gonna succeed. No way shall they break us. United we be. I'm sitting on that rock, on top that mountain top, looking down upon Jaja creation. My eyes stood still. Yeah, couldn't believe the things of me said. Couldn't believe the things what I want in a Jaja land, in a Boston. Cause I can't believe this mess that we living in, this place we call home. I fear for the future. Can't you see destruction surrounding me? War's not the answer. Raising evil side. We'll give thanks to the Boston police them. Give thanks to the FBI text them. The thief and all the defense them. Doctors and all volunteers them. Silva Duss upon the mic a chant. Na 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 na. Oh firebase, yeah I can't believe. Oh no, no I can't believe. Oh, Boston strong. Oh na na na. Love you all. Reaching out. Love you to all participants in the event 4/15/2030.